we're going to be working with measurement of the length is 12.5 inches. I have my underbust 17 and the full length is 21 inches. We also need the back measurement, so just write all your measurements out first before we move on. The bust is 34, that bust circumference 26, waist is 28. Now to this circumference measurement, add 8 inches and divide the sum by 4. Or there are some that calculate there's like this, their circumference measurement divided by 4, then you add 2 inches to the sum. You're still going to get the same thing. Now 10.5 is the highest circumference measurement. You know, we have 10.5, 8.5 and 9. Now to fold the fabric, I'll be using 10.5 inches. Here's my 10.5 inches. Then we need to add extra 2 inches for padded to make it 12.5 inches. Now because it's a corset dress, I'll add extra 1 inch to it, so that's 13.5 inches. 13.5 inches. So first I am going to mark out all the 3 inches. Now you know it's 3 inches. Now we first added 2 inches for padded dress and I added 1 inch for the corset dress, so that's 3 inches. So the 3 inches is what I'm ruling out first. Now the 1 inch for the corset, we're going to mark it out as well. Now having done that, from the point of the 3 inches, we are going to fold it. Let's fold it out so we can measure all the circumference measurements. We have -7. I am taking -7 inches. Then we mark out our on the bust length, which is 12.5. The half length, that's my half length, which is 17, and the full length is 21, so I'll make it 23 inches. Here is the full length. So now we have the under bust length, the half length, and the waist length. Do not forget it is -7, so now we can bring out our armhole. You can make it -6, you can make it -5. all right, just go with whatever measurement so that you don't open up a larger part of the upper part of your bodies. So on the armhole length, which is 8.5, I am taking the bust circumference measurement. Then below the under bust, we take the under bust circumference measurement, and we take the waist circumference measurements. So let's connect from the bust, under bust circumference, and waist. Now we have the shoulder divided by 2, which is 7 inches. So I'm going to mark the 7 inches here. The 7 inches minus 1.5 will give us 5.5 inches because it's more like an off shoulder dress. So we're going to minus 1.5. Connect from there like this to the bust. So let's cut. Now here we have the next thing we're going to be doing is to fold based on the padded measurement, and that's the bust span is what we need to get first. So the bust span for this measurement is 7 inches. So 7 inches is 3.5 inches. So to the 3.5, I will add extra 0.5 to make it 4 inches. So I'm marking out the 4 inches all the way down. we need to get the nipple points from the under bust first. Here's our nipple point, so it varies, so you have to measure for yours. Get the nipple points for your measurements and mark it out from the under bust. You can as well measure from the shoulder. Excuse me. You can take the measurement from the shoulder. So let's rule it out first. Now, what I am going to measure from the 4 inches, we are going to take 1 inch to the left and 1 inch to the right hand side. From the 4 inches, we're going to mark 1 inch to the left and 1 inch to the right. So the 1 inch continues all the way to the waist till we get to the under bust. We're going to stop at the under bust measurement. That's the 1 inch. Okay, here at the top, first let's mark out the 4 inches for the bust span, so that we can take our 1.5. It is now 1.5 to the left and 1.5 to the right hand side. Now from your nipple point, we are going to connect to the 1.5 from the left and from the right hand side. Then from the nipple point to the under bust, just like this. Then just connect the points. It's going to be a bit curved, so you follow the curve, like the curve shape. All right, then straight down to the base of the waist. This is more like we are cutting out a padded dress. So if you know how to go about your padded dress, you can just do that. The next thing we're going to get is the nipple points to the left and also to the right. For this measurement, it is 2.5 inches to the left and 3 inches to the right. It varies as well, you know. So from the under bust, we're going to connect the points, but first we're going to take half an inch because of our sewing. So just measure your 2.5 to the left. Take your measurement from the nipple point to, and then from the nipple point to the left and from the nipple point to the right hand side. Get the measurement first, then mark it out. After that is done, from the measurement, you're going to take in half an inch, like that, to the under bust, half an inch, because of our sewing. Now we're going to work on the middle piece. Here at the middle piece, you can decide to, depending on the measurements that you are leaving. So we're going to connect that 1.5 now. You can increase yours depending on where you want the bust cup to start from. If you want to make it half an inch, you want to make it 1 inch, or you want to make it 2 inches, you can just go ahead and do that. Do not forget that our measurement still is -7. So at the middle point, that's the 1 inch extra. I'm going to still come in, I'm coming lower than the 7 inches. So it's more like I have 8 inches at the middle piece, and then you connect to the bust area of the pattern and cut it out like this. Here is our bra cup. The next thing to do, you can decide, let me bring it out so we can see. You can decide how you want to place your cup. You can have different patterns. You can bring it up like this, or you straighten it. Do not forget that the 1 inch is not part of our dress. So let's just fold it so we can have a clearer view. Something like this. Now, like I was saying, you can decide to have your breast cup placed in this manner. So if you have it in this manner, it means this middle piece still have to go down. It will go down the more, giving you this shape. So the back up is curved, and if you want it to stay firm, you can make it just stand right. But if you're placing it this way, remember to trim whatever excess that you have, both at the middle and by the side. And you can as well place it, make it stand the proper way, so that you're just going to have little material to cut out like this, and that is just going to be more like your sewing allowance. So you can go with whatever design that you want. Either you want to curve your cup, or you want it to stand. And remember to trim out the excess, but do not tamper with the armhole. Do not tamper with the armhole measurement of 8.5. It still maintains the same thing. Just maintain your measurement. So the placement of your cup depends on the end results of the style that you are trying to create. So I believe that is clear. So if you want to trim it out, you can just trim it out, and you can leave it like this first. Do not tamper with your armhole. Trim out whatever you want to trim, and that's it. So the next thing we're going to do from here is the boning case. Now you can take your measurement depending on the structure that you want to have. You can have your measurement either wide at the base and very tiny at the underbust area. You can have it wide at the underbust area and have it tiny at the base, like at the waist area of your dress. So here I'm taking more like 1 inch space at the underbust and giving it a slant shape, so that it's slant, that shape like an A line goes out like that to the waist part of the dress. You can as well have it like this. Just create space for it depending on your choice. Either you want it to be narrow at the underbust, or you want it to be wide. Now the next thing I'm going to do is cut out the middle piece to create the space for boning. So let's cut out all the pieces, all the lines that we have in our pattern. So I'm going to number this so we don't get confused. 1, 2, and 3. Now let's move to drafting the back. For the back, you can measure as low as you want it to be. I am maintaining -7 inches for the back, and I have 8.5 for the armhole. The length 20 is now 22, and here is the underbust measurement. So just take your normal back measurement. Now here at the back, there is no need to add zipper allowance, so I'm just folding my basic measurements, still using the normal circumference measurement. So it's just going to be the bust plus 8 divided by 4, or the bust circumference divided by 4 plus 2 inches. You have the underbust circumference as well, plus 8 divided by 4, and the waist, your waist measurement plus 8, then you divide the sum by 4. Now we're going to connect. So the back is more like you just have your basic back bodies. Alright, so I maintained my -7, then I move ahead with my measurement. Then if you still want the back lower than 7, you can go as low as 8, as 9, as 10, 11, or 12, depending on your choice. Here is the 8.5 inches, which is for the armhole. Then the underbust length, which is 12.5 for me, so you have to take your measurements. And here is the full length of the dress we are making. Now here's the armhole, which is 8.5. Because I want it lower than 8.5, which I have measured out, I'm going to connect like this. So if you still want yours to be lower than this, you can connect it like that as well. If you want to add zipper to your dress, you can go ahead and add your zipper. And if you do not want zipper at the back of the dress, you just maintain your normal measurement. Now from the normal measurement that I took, depending on how open you want your loops, you can have a closed loops by measuring like 1 inch, so that when you cinch, that's when you pull the ropes together, you have it closed. You can take out 1 inch, you can take out 2 inches. For me, I'm taking out 1 inch from the normal basic measurements. So I've cut out the back. Now moving to the cup part. For the cup, all you just need to do is fold your fabric. Make sure you have excess material like this. So you're going to cut it round. Now for what we have here, we need to first get the middle point. So notch the middle and we are going to unfold. Now I am taking out 1.5 inches on both sides, 1.5 inches. Then I'm going to connect each point to the middle part of my fabric. Now whatever I have cut out as the main fabric, I am going to cut out, this is for one part of the cup. I'm going to cut another for the second part of the cup. Now we are going to cut fabric, that's 2 of this for the fabric and 2 of this as lining. So these 2 fabric is for the main cup, yes, the main fabric for the cup, and then 2 as well, which will serve as the lining. Now on my pattern, I have placed my pattern to cut my fabric. We have 1, 2 and 3, so I've placed to cut the main pattern. I've also placed the fabric to cut the wording and also to cut out the lining. So go ahead and iron your stay on your lining and on your main fabric.